ki khubor ka bate si TV. Lawan Rashapi taka Frank Motors. Booking open for the new Nexon. Visit Frank Motors or call 7045207973.
Dilip Mugerjia ubalong unong tok jongga kot learning skills consultant leadership coach. Ulaong baga national education policy kadayban urlong no hagani ka jila Meghalaya. Namar bagani ka policy kaday ka jingpen kam katkum ka jingtulun jonggi sialantem kapor. Haga jingakren bat gilat patay kubor haga kat pratarik unay lor arhajar arpulay. Dilip Mugerjia ulaong baga national education policy kadayban urlong nado ki kelas ki barin ki balong kum ki mau kendon jong ka thok ka pule. Bat haga jo kapor ulaong ru bagane ka policy kam day ban long ka jing nrei ka badon kam ka long ban ai bhai ya ka jing hikai syaki khna haga ru kam ka badai. Ulapan pau ka jing benyau ya ka jing bomla jong ka sarkar ban pentrai kam ya ka national education policy haga por ka babyang. Bat ongru bagane kan sakta hi hadian habot ya kalawai pule jonggi khna school.
The NEP is at varying phases of time 64, 65, now 66 pages. Okay. Nothing much. Okay, this is the NEP. But in order to speak about the NEP, complain about it, praise it, take action, whatever, you have to read it. What is it about? Now, let me give you the good news. The NEP has contents that have a lot of worth and value. We come from an ancient culture where India was the learning capital of the world. The greatest universities of the world were in India, right? North to south, east to west. And scholars from around the world, including China, or especially China, came to India to learn. And they took back these learnings, either copied or memorized or with indwelling wisdom acquired. They traveled miles and miles for months and years back to their homeland to teach their own people what we have. What the West is claiming is theirs is not at all theirs. Not at all. Whether it is rocket science, satellites technology, even what they call artificial intelligence, which is a stupid expression. Artificial is not intelligent and intelligent is not artificial. Right? It may be alien intelligence, it may be applied intelligence, right? Etc. It may be augmented intelligence, but it's not artificial at all. And it's leading our lives whereby there is a danger of us becoming the tools of our tools. And the average person now is not thinking, they're Googling, right? And if that's all they do, they're going to be Google-eyed and ignorant, right? Nothing wrong with Google. Google should be our slave, not our master, right? So, the first wonder of the world is the title of the book I wrote for the Minister of Education here, over here. The first wonder of the world is the mind of a child. And the first 5 years of a child, any child, the first 5 years are crucial. The first 5 years of a child determine the rest of the child's life, believe it or not. I was just talking to a friend of mine in Singapore on the phone, and she has a little baby, 15 months old. And I said, don't go getting a job, let your husband get the job. Right? You pay attention to your child. First 5 years are crucial. Right? And how your first 5 years were spent, I don't know. But my first 5 years were incredible. They were wild and incredible and all over the world. Right? And I cannot thank my parents enough for that. But they did shape my life too. So I know what I'm talking about. But in general, as I was saying to David, I read 10 books a week or 500 books a year. And a lot of them is about education, innovation. I am the progenitor of a program called LIFE, L-I-F-E, Leadership, Innovation, Fellowship, Entrepreneurship. Right, L-I-F-E. We need all of this in order to be future ready. Otherwise, our state is going to be future unready. Right? Now, in the context of what we are talking about, you need to have strategic preparedness in our state. Now, of course, I'm not a tribal, but I love this state. I could leave and go somewhere else easily, but I don't want to until somebody takes action, right? And I repeat, we cannot say something must be done. We have to say, I must do something. Each of us. And if we come together collectively, there will be a plurality that cannot change but transform our state for the best, not just for the better. We can become the learning capital of India and transform the rest of the states in India. As I was saying to David, most people in the major cities of India don't know anything about the Northeast. Shillong is not in their consciousness, right? Meghalaya is not in their consciousness, right? You can put it back on the map through your statements, through your articles, through your actions, and leading by example, college by college, school by school, institution by institution, we'll be able to do it. Now, how am I confident about what I'm saying, right? I could easily be cynical and say, well, Meghalaya is dead, forget it. You know, this is a brain dead state as things stand right now. But we cannot leave it like that. I'm advising the President of Mexico, President Vicente Fox, talking to Chief Minister, not Chief Minister, Prime Minister and President of Turkey, where they were using these techniques that I write about, that I'm talking about. Now you can say, so does the NEP, I'm asking the question on your behalf, so does the NEP have the solution to what India needs to do? No. It tells you what India was and that they have an aspiration to bring back India to that state of magnificence and magnanimity, sort of practically magnetically, right? Okay, you flick a switch, wave a magic wand, and India is going to be great again. Now I have the vision in my mind to restore India as the learning capital of the world. But by starting with Meghalaya to become the learning capital of India, and India collectively to become the learning capital of the world, right? Now, this is not for self-glorification of Indians collectively or individually. It is to help humankind. We are living in the most perilous times of our lives, of human evolution. At the flick of a button, press of a button, a switch can be flicked from down to up or up to down, and we can destroy our habitat, our planet. We are a tiny blue dot. We, in our lifetime, have the capacity and the capability to destroy our lives and livelihoods across the planet. Right? COVID-19 is just a precursor. It is nothing compared to what we are capable of. Right? Now, whatever conspiracy theories exist about COVID-19, true or false, it happened. It happened, and it took the world by the jugular, right? We cannot let things like that happen again. And the only solution is learning to become learning leaders and leading learners. So I've written books with all these. You can have a look when you have a break. But whatever I'm talking about, I have written about already in entire books. But I wrote this so that the chief, the Minister of Education and his advisors and his councils and whoever he has in his team can wake up saying, okay, we have a solution. We now know what to do, right? You're free to ask me any questions you like, of course, and I would welcome them, because the more questions you ask, the more clarity you will get. And you're recording it, so you should be the first press corps and the first gathering of people across our subcontinent for a start, and perhaps across Asia, where the issue is being addressed, right? First page of this book, right? I mean, later you can have a look, I've got notes all over, right? See, I highlighted in pink, right? What they're talking about is learning how to learn. That's it, it's just there, and then they keep writing. They don't know what is learning how to learn. I've written an entire book, yeah, which is called Learning How to Learn. But every one of these books is learning how to learn technology. Now, if our campuses had this, right? This morning I met a professor from Nehru. She used to be my neighbor, right? Her little boy had some of my books when he was like 10 years ago. And now he's in college and using the techniques in Hyderabad, and he's acing all his subjects, right? Effortlessly. When I teach the UPSC aspirants, and you can watch them at Mati, they're all going to fail because they haven't learned how to learn. So they go in a gathering and then they sit separately in a large auditorium and they're listening to a professor who's barely audible. His stuff is on 2 screens and they're falling off to sleep. And I told them, you cannot pass like this. There's no way. Now, if we start teaching every home, every parent and grandparent, uncle and aunt, And we create a learning society and learning neighborhoods. In Singapore, I created learning neighborhoods by having brain clubs in each neighborhood, right? And children were teaching elder children. The young were teaching the older. Can you imagine? Because their brains can pick up faster. You understand? So if I have CEOs of companies sitting here and children also, the children will pick up faster than them in learning how to learn. Their brains are wired differently. And we don't do this. And our principals and our teachers think they know it all. Because they are frozen and nothing grows in ice. And they are frozen in their degrees or bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever. But they have stopped learning. They should be burning for learning. And July 2020 when this document came out, and now we are in September 2023. What have they done? Nothing. But what has happened? The lives of our children has been wasted, right? It's turned into garbage. And this is a crime. It's not just a mistake, it's a crime. And it's a shocking crime. And why has it happened? It's because each of us has not spoken up and done anything about it, right? I sometimes go to Bethany Society and I teach children who are blind and the teachers of the blind or their parents. I go to Mary Rice Center next door where they've got cerebral palsy and they've got other brain ailments, etc. and show them ways of how the brain is so magical, right? It's an amazing organ, right? In Singapore I've been going and watching brain operations and heart operations and dealing with the patients. And it doesn't matter, I tell them, that you had a tumor. You can still learn. The tumor has affected you, it's attacked you, now you've got to relearn. And by relearning, you will cure more than any medicine will cure. Learning is a medical strategy, right? Not mugging. We're not talking about mugging. Using applied imagination techniques. This rote, R-O-T-E, 3/4 of rote is rot. So you're going to rot your brain if that's the only solution we have, right? So now I'm going to open it up to you people to challenge me in any way you want, to ask me anything you want for clarification, because all I want is to help you. That's all. So where did India come for the last PISA test? 72nd out of 73 countries. Which place came first? Shanghai, not even the whole of China. Shanghai. I said to Rahul Gandhi, the Chinese fast asleep are smarter than Indians, eyes wide open. It's not because Indians are stupid. It's because we are arrogant. We think we know everything, right? The Chinese are hungry. They want to win everything. So what did they do? 15-year-old kids all went to Shanghai who wanted to compete, right? Tightened their belts and studied like hell. And the day after the results came, I had to give a speech in Singapore, and a friend of mine printed all the 5 books, so thick each, right? I went through them through the night, and I thought the Chinese had some magic pill, something really terrific where they are performing magic. Not at all. The Chinese mugged. That's all they did, they mugged. But they have the stamina and the hunger to do it. So they broke through those barriers. It doesn't mean they're smarter than Indians. They are smart, right? But they were hungry to win. We are not, right? There are Indians who excelled abroad. I did too, right? But they are the minority. More than 50% of our country is in the Stone Age. The British denuded us. They took away and blackened out all our learning systems, all the wisdom that we had, and now we are the most illiterate country in the planet. More than 50%. Can you imagine? This is a disgrace of our leadership. I don't care make in India and this and that. I don't give a damn about that. Right? What is each of us doing? Right? Each of us can become toppers in UPSC. I taught the topper a few years ago. Sampath Kumar asked me to do programs in Delhi, and there was a lady called Nandini. She was brought to me. I was speaking to a women's congregation there one day and said, oh, she needs help because she failed her previous interview. She came with her father. I told her father, just listen, don't interfere. 4 hours. She went for exams. She came first all India. Now, how can a person who just failed now come first all India, right? Anybody can learn. All you need to do is to learn how to learn. Once you learn how to learn, the rest is magic. Okay? Questions, please. Go ahead. Shoot.
You are saying how to do it is not there.
In here, no.
Then what is the use of it?
You're right. No, the use of it is precisely why we are gathered. It gives you and me, all of us, an opportunity to highlight this reality. It is not there at all. Not one page has how to do it. Now, there's this road is blocked in Laimukra Market. I was going there to pick up my copy of It's So Thick National Curriculum Framework. Right? It's 600 pages. I had lent it to the principal of Jyotis Road School. Now, so I couldn't go down that road to pick up the book, and I came straight here. Now, that book is supposed to tell you, purportedly, how to do it. I would imagine, because they're saying National Curriculum Framework, right? It's framing nothing, right? It's got a minor, baby level attention given to this is how you do geography. This is how you do chemistry or general science, etc. A little bit, nothing much. English is, whether you like it or not, the preeminent language of today, across the world, right? No emphasis, just a sentence, English. That's it. Now, you are right. If you only have this, you cannot do it. And what's the bad thing about it? Not only is it bad that they don't show you how, but the reaction that is taking place in defense of their status quo, which has no status for lecturers like those in Nehu and other campuses, is that, what do we do? How do we do? We need infrastructure, we need all nonsense, right? I've taught people in Soweto in the mud, in Guwahati in the mud outside the airport, students who couldn't do their maths or something, just in the sand, that's all, right? The infrastructure you need is the will to win. With a consciousness, we've got to do it. No matter how, the money will come and magic will happen. But they are staying back and saying something. So what? You're going to have a grand building, it's going to be a cathedral, right? And it'll be your mausoleum. It's just for dead bodies, right? It'll be nothing.
You spoke about will to win. So
sorry?
What's the will to
a will to win, yes.
Yeah, come on. Because we, travels we are very much less. So how can you promote this?
Sorry, I'll just repeat. Did I understand you correctly? You're saying that the tribals in the northeast don't have a will to win? Is that your meaning?
Yeah.
Okay. I accept.
From the sun.
No, because if the history, of evolution over here, and let's take it post-independence, and let's take the 50 years that have gone by, and that happens to be true, my response to that is, in any society, in any discipline, in any culture across the planet, no transformation, never mind change, no transformation means to transcend form, right? You're not the same person anymore. It will not happen unless you have leadership. You need learning leadership and leading leadership. We lack leadership, so we lack anything else.
So do you mean to say that infrastructure is not that important when it comes to implementation of the NEP?
No. I don't know if you were here when the word infrastructure, that time when he mentioned it in the next room. I will respond to you.
Yes.
So, of course you need, for example, we need this infrastructure, this room for us to gather. Right, but say we didn't have it, I could talk to you under a tree. Now, I'm not saying that every campus must be just under a tree or something like that. You need a certain basic infrastructure, but you do not need any infrastructure other than what exists in whatever form to get started. 3 years, more than 3 years, July, August, 3 years, 3 months have gone by since this document came out. And not one person has demonstrated action into, I'm now smarter today than I was yesterday. This is what I've learned compared to before. Now, am I smarter today than compared to yesterday? Yes. Am I smarter yesterday than I was day before yesterday? Yes. Why? Because I'm reading, I'm writing, I'm drawing, I'm teaching, I'm learning, I'm driving my friends crazy with questions. What is this? What is this? Can you just check this for me? Even in marine engineering, there's a question in my head from years back. And I said, I'm a marine engineer, my background. From years back, and I said to them, this answer doesn't exist anywhere in Google. Just check it out for me. So, this, this is what I heard. I was not in the class, but some Christian brothers told me they were doing a PhD in Nehu, they asked questions in class and they were reprimanded, and it was as if the lecturer is being challenged. Now, I'm inviting you people and welcoming your questions over here. And when a child asks a question, as I said, 0 to 5 is crucial, right? It's destiny, right? When those questions are asked, it's magical. Your question is directly linked to an absence of leadership. I repeat, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership does not mean you have a certain position or a title, right? You can have a title, means you have authority, right? Okay, you can sign a document and you have authority. Doesn't mean you're a leader. And what we need here are not leaders. We need statesman leaders, right? Because we have a big problem, right? We really have a big problem. The schools you went to when you were a little girl, right, don't exist anymore. Sorry, they don't. I've been to every campus. I don't mean to say. Everything I say it. And I mean what I say and I say what I mean. This manuscript, the contents of it have worth and value in terms of taking us back to the Rig Veda, to the Upanishads, to our ancient wisdom from, let us even go back 7,000 years from now, right? From 5000 BC on to now, okay? It can take us back to that. And with worth and value. Certainly, right? Whether you consider the times of Ashoka or Chanakya or well before that, right? That wisdom, how it was accumulated, is magic in its own right, right? And the civilizations in our history books, there are many civilizations that have not been addressed, right? They have been doctored. They have been transmuted in ways by the people who colonized us. And their textbooks do not contain certain authentic historical truths, right? Now, our people, these Indians that I value are the ones who wait for the truth, right? I put over here, right in front, Satyameva Jayate, right? It is truth alone triumphs, right? And it comes from the Mundaka Upanishad. Now that is thousands of years back, right? Where our ancestors were the progenitors of truth coming, of wisdom coming from truth. Now what is this truth? Right? Oh, oxygen, we need oxygen. We cannot live on carbon dioxide, but plants can. So we start this discovery. But your question is deep and has value because as it stands, like all of the rest of you asking, so we have this document. Now, does this contain the magic elixir? No way. No way. But has this got value? Yes, absolutely, it has value. Can you see so far? There's a roadmap across the 2 pages, right?
Just a moment.
Yeah. See? Lower? Like that? Right. Do you want to do this? Okay? Now, that's the first part. There's a roadmap for Meghalaya where there are 5 milestones. I mean, you can have 3 milestones, you can have 6 milestones. I created 5 milestones to explain simply to the minister, 5 fingers in one hand. Easy to remember the 5 milestones. On top of this roadmap, to answer your question, I have the details of how the roadmap comes to life. The book is not big enough to put the storyboard on 1 page, so it's 3 pages. You see, it's like this. Step-by-step storyboard, right? From the preceding page to these 2 facing pages, right? So the choice is education or extinction. And your question is absolutely valid, right? Because now how? We have this mess, nothing is answered, they don't show why, in what way, and what. That's why I wrote that. So step by step, if we do it neighborhood by neighborhood, and you have learning counselors and learning facilitators and brain clubs opened in each locality, let's say, right? You'll have the strong pulling up the weak, and you will have no child left behind. Now, this state, and maybe Shillong, I'm not too sure about the Garo and Jaintia Hills, but the way the neighborhoods are designed, they are sort of low-rise dwellings, and they're not skyscrapers or anything like in other countries. But where I was in Singapore, each neighborhood with their different skyscrapers, so many families, so many children, one cluster. Then another cluster, cluster by cluster, the strong were helping the weak and no child left behind. They're teaching their parents how to learn, Now, how do you do it here? You can't do it unless you start. You have to have one pioneer group to start. Then when that magic starts percolating all across, others will follow. But if you do nothing, nothing will happen. Another 50 years will go and nothing will happen. Right? Now, your question could be amplified and say, is it very difficult to learn how to learn? No. It's one of the easiest things I've ever experienced in my life. It's very difficult to master, right? To polish it up. I mean, if I learn how to play the piano now, I can't go and give a concert next year. But once you start, it becomes so easy. It's unbelievable, right? So they have no strategies for learning. There are no learning strategies in any single textbook in this country. None. Not one. Show me any. I challenge you.